Hello and welcome back to the letter, and I believe we're heading to the theater now that we found out Isabel's obviously not at the mansion anymore. Because she left with Ash, so the entire visit took the whole 24 minutes, and my trip to the mansion turns out is a useless endeavor in itself. Isabel's no longer there, left shortly before I arrived. Or at least, that's what the few staff who saw her assumed. None of them knew where she went, but I could take a few guesses. There are only a number of places in Luxembourg she frequents, and well, she's never been the complex kind. Doesn't really take a genuine genius to figure it out. Oh, I can't speak. Still, it's odd she left on her own. She could have at least waited for Scooper. It would have saved her having to pay the cab's fare twice today.
And right after she was told to stay put! I mean, who does that?
Isabel?
Oh, sod off! You don't own the road!
In the end, all Miss Cooper could give me were a string of apologies for my troubles. Requests to let her know when I find Isabel. All affair didn't even last long. Probably spent more time traveling back and forth. Soon enough, I'm weaving my way back to downtown Luxembourg, worried sick on top of that, maybe a little annoyed. Whether at the unexpected turn of events or at Isabel herself, I'd rather not think about it for now. Not when I'm already running late for Zachary's film. Besides, I'm perfectly sure that's where I'll find her. And I was gonna say something, brain fart there. Lo and behold, that's all it was. Lo and behold, she's here, I would assume. One would expect people are already gathered at the movie house when I get to it. The small avenue where it's located has been closed off early from any passing traffic to make way for the avid moviegoers who are sure to crowd the venue. I had to park almost a street away and walk the remaining distance because of it. Looking for them has taken a while in the crowd this big, but eventually I spot them near the entrance. And when did she jump into the whole conversation here? Nope. Okay, I was like, did it crash? Thanks to Zachary's mostly. And like I've summarized, Isabel's with them.
I knew it.
Wasting no time, I march over... I can't speak! Wasting no time, I march over their little group. Words filled with concern tumble out my mouth before I could stop myself.
Isabella! Oh, thank goodness! Becca, you're just in time.
Odd expression crosses her face as I hold it with both hands, but I ignore it in favor of getting a good look at her. Forcing her to keep still and fix her gaze at me.
You're squishing my face. How are you? Are you alright? Why wouldn't I be?
Okay, random notification here. Okay, I don't need to know that. You'd think by now I'd still remember this isn't the usual vision novel. There doesn't seem to be any visible injury, nor does she appear to be in pain. Apart from her confused frown at my question, she looks pretty much like how she would any other day. Even so, you can't really tell those things with her at first glance. Last time she got sick, she never bothered to call anyone, even me, who lives right next door. If I hadn't checked on her then, she probably would have died on her bed with the rest of us, none the wiser. It's one thing we laughed about now, but moments like those also teaches you something about a person. If anything, it has given me more reason to constantly worry about her. And the moment a familiar name comes up, I know my concerns right now aren't completely baseless.
Rose called me earlier.
Her expression swiftly changes and gently as she can, Isabel pushes my hands away. Yet even before she says anything, I already have a hunch how this whole thing will play out.
Oh, no, everything's good. Rose covered for me at work today. That's not what I'm talking about. How's your head?
Then and there, the whole conversation goes down as I've imagined. She dodges my hand when I reach for the back of her head, intending to check the said injury myself. Even makes a show of hiding behind Zachary just to avoid me. Instantly, what's supposed to be a simple inquiry dissolved into a shameless game of tag. Shouting and chasing like none of us could be bothered to act like the full-grown adults we were all supposed to be. Including Ashton. I won't put it past Isabella, but Ash, out of everyone? In fact, if that stupid smirk on face tells me anything, he finds this whole mess amusing. Or for the love of—
Isabella, this isn't a laughing matter.
She did look pale when I saw her.
Wow, thanks a lot, Ashton, you traitor. I'll get you back for this, just you wait.
What? I'm just saying it as it is. If you mentioned this earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
There's a moment pause, hands still midair as my attention shifts to Ashton and the words he leaves hanging between the four of us. Doesn't meet my eye. I don't think he's even aware of what he said, but the meaning in each syllable alone is clear. And they echo. They sting. They burn.
I'm sorry. Saw her?
Yeah, they arrived together. Bella looked fine to me then. I don't know.
Oh, that's right, because she's jealous. Of course. Of course. Why else would Isabella leave on her own after being told to stay put? After that little chat about money this morning? Something close to the silence falls while I mull over their words. Both what's already been said and what's left unspoken. And when I do find my voice, it only reeks with nothing but bitter, unpleasant thoughts. Thoughts I quickly stamp out before they surface. Thoughts I hid the best I can in these part of my mind, locking it away for no one to see.
Oh, that's good. At least she didn't have to travel alone, right? At least.
Oh, whatever. We've had this conversation in the early part of the series, so yeah. Yet try as I might, the green-eyed monster easily rears its ugly head. Like it always does every time his gaze lingers a second longer. Every time he smiles in a manner far too gentle, far too silent, whenever he thinks no one can see. Every time my mind suggests his words mean more than they should. Every small little thing. Despite what he says, despite his tone—
Look, you guys.
For all I know, it may just be the same kind of fondness born from friendship. Maybe I'm simply overthinking like he often tells me, or maybe there really is something there. But it is a short display of impatience. I know the whole of it's just for show. After all, growing up together with him didn't teach me nothing about him. For whose sake is it this time, though? For him? For Zachary? For her? Or for me? That I can't tell.
If she says she's okay, then there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like we can stop her either. Besides, she's still acting like the same old Isabella to me, if she can still run around like that.
Why are you taking her side?
I'm not. But if she wants to watch Zach's movie with us, I'm not going to stop her. She's probably the one looking forward to it the most.
Ash, that's... You, of all people, should know...
Tell you what, if I notice something amiss with her, I'll take her to the nearest hospital myself. Is that good enough for you?
My mouth opens and snaps shut almost as quickly, forming a thin, hard line instead. Can't respond, not because there's nothing to say. On the contrary, there's plenty, so many things I could use to reason get him to agree. But because he speaks with much certainty, with much reassurance, it feels like there isn't even a choice. All I could give is a long, deep breath and a reluctant nod in the face of it. Before I could get a grip of myself and my own weakness, the mood immediately shifts and I'm being tackled into a
Thanks,
hug.
Becca.
It's always been you with him, isn't it?
Did you say something?
Yep. Jealous.
Me? Nothing. Don't mind me.
A lie, obviously. What else can it be? Each and every smile a tiny effort to keep things as they are. Or so I tell myself. Little do I know, this is merely a preamble preamble. It starts out quietly without fanfare, amidst friendly jibs and harmless teasing, a scrap of paper fluttering harmlessly to the ground. Oh, and then now they've seen the letter. One that looks suspiciously like a creepy Halloween prank, no matter how you look at it. And yet, despite how ludicrous it all is, Isabella stubbornly insists as if her whole life depends on acknowledging the truth in her story. Does she even realize how absurd she sounds now? Crevens? Even my students wouldn't fall for this. Something French, I would assume?
Isabella, aren't you taking this a bit too far?
She doesn't give me time to regret not thinking over my choice of words. From there, it escalates, grows into an argument too petty, even for our standards as adults. Before we know it, one after another, harsh, scathing words are being spoken.
It's not a joke! Will you guys listen to me first? I saw something in the house earlier. It stood right in front of me. If I hadn't gotten away, that thing might have...
Right. And in broad daylight, Isabella. Even someone gullible would find the logic in that screwed up. There's also no way in hell that this supernatural shit is true.
But it's real! What do you think I saw?
A hallucination? A delusion? Didn't you say you fell down some stairs? So maybe Rebecca's right.
It happened after, when I was trying to get away. I almost got stuck in the same room with that thing. We're all in danger. I thought you were my friends. Why don't you believe me?
But someone has to be patient in all this, and however much my own has already been afraid earlier, there's no one else. Who else here can deal with someone selfishly acting like a kid? Like every other time, it has to be me.
We are, and you know that. But this thing and that thing has got nothing to do with the other. When Rose called earlier, I thought she's just exaggerating. But based on what I'm seeing right now, maybe it's better if we really postpone this for now.
Don't bother.
Just like that, she cuts us off. Slams the door right on our face while my own temper flares before I could stop it. Although it flatters briefly at the hard expression on my I forgot, I can't speak. Although it flatters briefly at the hard expression on her when she snatches the blasted paper from Ashton, I hold onto it. Regardless of how upset she appears, soured expression, balled fists, throwing a tantrum is simply unacceptable. For a grown woman at that, words from at the tip of my tongue ready. Before I could even the words hard. But before I could open my mouth and let all of it out. Her feelings and mistakes be damned, Zachary raises a voice of his own.
Guys!
A warning underneath the warm and hopeful beat in his voice. We all stop and look to him. Even my own anger subsides a little at his tone.
Why don't we all calm down first? I'm sure Isabella has her reasons too. No need to be hard on her. And hey, ain't this supposed to be a happy get-together?
To an outsider, it may sound like a desperate request, but Zachary has always been the one to keep a level-headed over petty squabbles. This time's no different. He knows what to say. And when he lets it fall, they only ring sharp and true.
We haven't seen each other for months. I'd really love to know what y'all have been up to. I only ever get to talk to Bella over chat. Please.
And as careful as he is with his own tone, it does make me feel ashamed. We're supposed to be here for him, to give what little support we can give. Yet here he is, trying to keep 3 stubborn people from outright hashing it out in public. Later we can and will talk about it, of course. There's a proper time and place for it, and at the moment, my anger and whatever reprimes it carries no longer matter. Besides me, Ashton appears to have already caught on. The lines of his shoulders ease to something much more relaxed, expression back to its usual nonchalance. Isabella, however, she stands perfectly still, her hands clasping the straps of her bag like a lifeline. Eyes trained at some point near her shoes. There's no anger in her face, only an undeniable hurt. But she's never good at hiding what she thinks. Always the open book, always the one to wear her heart out in the open. And when she looks up, her answer is also as simple.
If we keep arguing here, we're going to miss the first few minutes.
Ah, so I wonder what would occur if I just chose to leave then. Because I know that butterfly effect involves her and that decision I made to stick with them. Her lips are curled up in a smile. But lacking both its usual brightness and glee, it's a smile nonetheless. I've seen it countless of times. It's the very same one she would show when she knows has no other choice, or simply when things get tough for her. But despite everything I already know about her, it still catches me off guard. In all honesty, I expected her to run, to balk at the first sign of losing this time. I won't even be surprised. At 26, she is the youngest among the rest of us, less experienced, less accustomed to dealing with trivial quarrels like this. Yet, here she is, holding herself and coping with it, like she would with matters concerning her family. Aside of that, to me, she always been this childish, naive girl, and watching the opposite play out right now. Somehow I find it difficult to wrap my head around it.
Alright, that's the Isabella I know.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you were going to cry.
But I envy her.
What was that for?
Stop calling me a crybaby! I'm not one!
Aw, don't cry.
Stop it!
I forgot how funny that was. I envy her spirit, her warmth, her cheer, the shine in her eyes when she looks at the world. Everything seems to simply fall back to a pleasant, lively rhythm with her around. How easily and tightly she fits into our lives, even without bonds only long years could forge. Like a lost piece of a puzzle, despite her jagged edges. How she draws people to her with ease. How Ashton of all people can be drawn to her.
Okay, scaredy cat then.
That too! If you repeat that, I swear I'll...
Let's just go.
I make no effort keeping the bitterness from my tone. I let it seep when you're stiffly in the air, and I avert my gaze from them. From their playful banter, their friendly teasing remarks, and Ashton's tender, affectionate smiles. All before the stabbing aches in my heart change into something too painful to bear. It's all in my head, is what I'd often tell myself. Yet the way my heart rends at just the sight of them hurts. Like a crowd, I walk away from all it, taking with me a small hope the movie will distract me from these thoughts. Because like this, it's easy to find something to hate in her. Yup, she is really jealous with how Ashton is towards her. So dusk has already given way tonight when we lead the film fest. Fortunately, it does nothing to improve my mood like I'm hoping. Neither does the muggy air that greets us upon stepping back into the noisy streets. Too busy. Too loud. Too many people talking. What little space the sidewalk offers. Force anyone to bump shoulders with those. Bear with me as I try to catch my breath. I've been talking a lot since I've been doing a lot of recording of this game. It forces anyone to bump shoulders with those they barely know, let alone care about. On a normal... this is gonna be so long. On a normal evening, I probably wouldn't have minded the crowd, nor the humid weather. It's not like any of them are bothering anyone. And yet, even with what's admittedly a pleasant company, I can't bring myself to line up.
See you guys some other time.
Oh, she's still a bit worried.
Yeah, see ya!
Oh, that's right, because she heard whispers when we were playing as her at the beginning of the game. At this time. And even to return the smile Ashton and Zachary gives us when we go our separate ways. Perhaps this started with Miss Cooper's call or earlier than that. Maybe even the moment I left bed this morning. Play hell, it could have been because of that sodding letter for all I know. I couldn't care less at this point. All I want is to get a warm bath, sleep, and wait for this dreadful day to end. Now, if only Isabella would stop babbling, then maybe this dull throbbing at the side of my head would turn into a full-blown headache too.
Zach did a pretty good job with his movie, didn't he? Even though Ash said he ran into some trouble late into filming.
Oh, Ash was filming it? Okay.
But I knew he had it in him. It's not like I didn't believe he couldn't do it. I mean, did you see his face after the credits rolled? All those months he worked on this, and everything's finally...
You weren't even watching.
Only the first minutes. I watched the rest of it, I swear. Besides, Ashton was the one who wouldn't stop asking questions.
Well, why do we still need to talk about this then? I liked it. Ash liked it. You liked it.
To talk about it? Jeez.
Shouldn't you be telling that to Zachary in person? I'm sure he'll appreciate it better than I ever will.
Damn, the jealousy in her tone.
I know that, but maybe there's something you want to say? Zach had you check the scripts before he went through everything, didn't he? You also worked on it, even if it was only for a short time. So, maybe you want to...
I don't bother waiting for the rest. The moment I spot my car, I immediately make a quick beeline for it. Knowing her, this is merely another attempt at starting a conversation just so we'll have something to fill the dead air, to replace the strained atmosphere we've somehow walked into. One thing, the very thing I'm not too keen to deal with at present. Behind me, Isabel also changes her pace to match mine. Soft strides growing brisk and uneven in order to catch up. A small part of me half expects she'll suddenly trip. She's not the clumsy sort, but there are definitely times when she can be the least coordinate person on the
Becca,
planet.
hey! Oh no. Wait for me!
And people wonder why I worry. I'm not really completely unfounded once you've already grown familiar with her habits. Though right now, this is also at the very end of the list of things I want to think about. Sometimes it does become overbearing. Even her voice, she calls after me, sounds nothing more than background noise to my ears now.
Rebecca, slow down, will you? Your car's not going to leave without us.
The sooner we get on the road, the earlier we can get home. It's Friday, in case you didn't notice.
I know what day it is, but the traffic's not going to magically disappear, even if we go there right now.
I don't want to hear that from you. Didn't you used to complain how horrendous the traffic is back home for you?
Clearly, she's still very annoyed with everything that's like her. Damn.
Yeah? But that doesn't have anything to do with this, Becca.
Okay. What do you want to do then? Wait it out? Walk? I just want to go home, Isabella. If you want to stay out here longer, I won't stop you. But leave me out of it. I'm not up for any other foolish excursions tonight.
I wasn't thinking about an excursion. I want to go home too. It's already late. It's just that you've been in this prickly mood since earlier.
Yep.
Are you really okay? Was it the cold? Or did something happen at school? Do you want to talk about it?
A long pause falls, and it holds everything she's been meaning to ask from the very start. I'm in no mood, but all the same, my hand stops short of unlocking my car, and my grip on the handle tightens. I feel her eyes boring on me, waiting, hoping patiently for any answer I'd give. She's the same as Zachary. They're bad liars. But when you talk to people like them, if you're not careful, they often leave you with no other choice but to admit the truth. Those are the exact same ones I can't voice. Despite my lack of response, she pushes on, surprisingly. This time, her tone is quieter and more attentive than usual.
Was it because of because of the letter?
It's a well-meaning question, much like the rest of this talk, yet something in how she says it irks
If it
me.
is, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to cause a scene. I did see something in the mansion, though. I wasn't lying about that.
I wonder if I get a choice here. Wherever she wants to talk, whenever she wants to take this, I no longer want to hear a word of it. Not this minute. Preferably never. Especially when there are a million other things buzzing and prodding inside my head. Sometimes my patience can only be tired for so long. I know this can only get worse. Let me look at the relationship. It's not the greatest, so... I'm not sure what would be the correct way of telling her. I'm not in the mood to talk, or this cold caught up with me. The cold?
And during the open house, even if there were a lot of people around, there were weird things happening. I don't know if there was anyone else who noticed, but I heard things. I'm sure it wasn't because I fell down the stairs. Even before that, in the attic,
Isabella!
Yeah?
A pause, though I don't let it last, only to give myself a small window to breathe, before I lay down the word between us with as much restraint my patient allows. Which is not much after everything. I can only hope Isabella will simply take them as they are. She can be stubborn as a mule when she wants to be.
This kind of conversation tonight. Look, it's been a long day. I think this cold also caught up with me, and I'm really exhausted. Can we talk about this some other time?
She blinks, and although disappointment flashes momentarily on her face, she gives me a curt nod. Relief enough for me, perhaps the first time I genuinely feel it today. As unpleasant as this day has been, seeing something go the way I've anticipated takes the edge out of it. Even flying through my teeth had to go with it.
Oh, alright. You should have just said so. I told you should have taken a full week off. Were you able to get the meds I brought you, though? Do you need anything? I could drop by the pharmacy for you.
Yeah, no need to fuss. A good night's sleep is all I need. I've been busy the whole day. I guess I should have listened to you and taken it easy. But we have exams to prepare for. It's one or the other, you know?
I knew it! Here I thought you were just upset about something.
Maybe.
Even Ash looked a little bit worried about you.
It's fine. Let's just head home, okay? I'll make it up to you next time. Call me out to lunch or wherever, just... not right now.
Okay, but should you be driving?
Probably not.
If you want, I can call a taxi for us. You'll hate paying the extra fees, but you'll be able to get some rest on the way home.
No, don't call a cab. I can manage driving at least. Just get in the car so we can be on our way.
Mary opening the door and climbing into the seat before she could protest. Left with no other choice, she follows inside shortly, albeit with a bit of reluctance. The guilt from this will eat at me later, but for now, these little falsehoods are mine to bear and hide under. For now, this is the better choice. Better than pretending she doesn't exist or giving her vague answers. Certainly better than harsh words outright lashing out at her. I can find a little comfort in that. Thankfully, if there's anything left to be spoken between us after, we won't have to discuss that on the way home. Rather, we can't, because no sooner than we hit the road, Isabel dozes off. Well, okay, despite my full foul mood, I still end up suppressing a laughter once the first sound of her breathing filled the car.
Mama?
Not your mom, Isabella.
Slowly and steady, the quiet rhythm so completely unlike her, so far removed from every impression anyone has of her. A few faint whimpers will occasionally come from her, but otherwise it's just the silence, and it's so utterly unexpected. Still, a welcome break, of course. Peace and quiet is one thing you'll rarely get with her around. Yet it's nowhere near comforting. It merely lends the air, the strange clarity, even little sound, every single movement more ploppable. And with it comes the unease. Jealous Sprite hits me. It's almost comical if this were a different situation. My haste accidentally dislodged my mobile from the seat on the dashboard when I swipe on the screen. Soon I'm scrambling blindly for it with my other hand while keeping steady on the road ahead. Voice crackles from the loudspeaker before I can put it back. And before we continue on, I'm going to end it here. Because it sounds like they're staying in the background, so I'm worried this might not be the actual Rose. So, if you guys enjoyed the video, got the like or off button. If you want to see more, got the subscribe or follow button to be notified of the next part or anything I make. Got anything to say something in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Comrades.